Now, our guest this afternoon's enjoyed chart success for nearly 5 decades, thanks to his ability to write great melodies and also really catchy lyrics. Throughout his career, he has accumulated 3 Ivor Novello Awards, including Songwriter of the Year in 1973. His songs continue to be highly regarded. They've been covered by Michael Bublé, Neil Diamond and Nina Simone, and notable admirers include Paul Weller and Mick Hucknall. Now, he's just celebrated his 50th anniversary of his chart debut, and here it is.
If I give up the seat I've been saving to some elderly lady or man, am I being a good boy? Am I your pride and joy? Mother, please, if you please, say I am. And if while in the course of my duty I perform an unfortunate take, would you punish me so unbelievably so? Never again will I make that mistake. This feeling inside me could never deny me the right to be wrong if I choose. And this pleasure I get from, say, winning a bet is to lose. When I'm drinking my Bonaparte shandy, eating more than enough apple pies, will I glance at my screen and see real human beings starved to death right in front of my eyes? Nothing old, nothing new, nothing ventured, nothing gained, nothing stillborn or lost, nothing further than proof, nothing wilder than you, nothing older than time, nothing sweeter than wine, nothing physically, recklessly, hopelessly blind, nothing I couldn't say, nothing why, cause today, nothing rhyme. Inside me could never deny me the right to belong if I choose. And this pleasure I get from, say, winning a bet is to lose. Nothing good, nothing bad, nothing ventured, nothing gained, nothing stillborn or lost, nothing further than proof, nothing wilder than you, nothing older than time, nothing sweeter than wine, nothing physically, recklessly, hopelessly blind, nothing I couldn't say, nothing why, cause today, nothing rhyme.
Gilbert O'Sullivan and Nothing Rhymed. 50th anniversary of that, around Christmas time last year, I guess it was. Gilbert O'Sullivan on the line from Jersey. Good afternoon, how are you?
Afternoon, Johnnie. Likewise, the same. I hope all is well with you. No, we're good here. Good here.
So you made the top 10 with Nothing Rhymed. That was not bad going. Tell us about that image you put together for Top of the Pops, the working man's cap and all of that stuff.
Well, I didn't do it for Top of the Pops. I did it to Dare to be Different. You know, when I came to London in '67, the band I was in with Rick David, we were called Rick's Blues. We could have actually turned professional, and but our bass player and guitar player were on apprenticeships, so they didn't want to do that. So that Rick and I had to decide what to do. For him, he needed to be in a band. I was quite happy just to go into London on my own to try and be a solo singer. Rick went on to form a band called The Lonely Ones, which became a band called The Joint, which ended up being Supertramp. So that's how it worked out for me. And I just wanted to dare to be different. I mean, the Beatles were the catalyst for me looking, in the sense, looking different, with the Beatle haircuts and collarless jackets and stuff. They didn't have to do that. So for me, it was impossible in 67, as you know, flower power and everything. Long hair was here to stay. And every record company, from CBS right through to meeting Gordon Mills, said, for God's sake, if you look like James Taylor, you'll sell far more records than you're ever going to sell looking like that. Didn't bother me. It didn't bother me in the slightest. I was so determined to use it. I don't care what they said. So I fought my way. And even Gordon Mills, when he took me on, and you can imagine with Tom Jones and Engelbert Humperdinck getting pictures of this person, he threw it in the bin quite rightly and stuff. But again, Gordon was a songman. It was always the songs, Johnny. Without Nothing Rhymed, I'd have been a kind of laughingstock. It was that sort of nice. On the one hand, you had somebody who's singing this kind of quite serious song, and then the other hand, the person singing it dressed. So I just liked the idea of people not quite knowing what was going on.
Did you come to resent that image at all, and wish you hadn't started it, or you just? No.
I'm blessed. I love it, Johnny. When I look back, it wasn't 10-inch heels and bell bottoms and hair down to my shoulders. I mean, it was, when you look at pictures of even people like Bowie and stuff, they kind of look quite slightly ridiculous in the early 70s because of the fashion. I'm proud of that image. And if you look at me from the neck upwards, I mean, have you seen footballers today? I mean, they all have the haircut that I had back then. But of course, back then, I looked slightly freakish with a pudding basin haircut. Now, I'm proud of that image, absolutely. And in no way does it interfere or does it have anything to do with the songwriting. That's a separate issue. That's always the most important thing. But there's no harm in trying to make a break, trying to do something a little bit different. Had I worn the jeans and grew my hair like James Taylor and stuff, of course, I'd have been cool. I've certainly had more girlfriends, but it didn't bother me at all.
Do you remember that first appearance you did on Top of the Pops?
Yeah, I mean that was great because the record came out on MAM. MAM was one of the first independent labels, if not the first. And the first record for MAM was Dave Edmunds' "I Hear You Knocking." The second record was Gilbert O'Sullivan, and the third was a Welsh singer, I think Clive. I'm trying to think of, not sure of his surname. Anyway, Dave was number one within 2 weeks. And 3 weeks, I still hadn't happened. 4 weeks, it still wasn't breaking through. It took 5 weeks for it finally to get more airplay. And that led to it coming into something like 30, 29 or something in the top 30. And that led then, once you're in the top 30, then you get a Top of the Pops. It was great. I mean, it was, my family, I must tell you, because of the outfit and my brothers and sister hadn't really seen how I looked because they were in Swindon, of course. And my young brothers, when they saw Todd, they're horrified. They said, "Oh, we have to go to school tomorrow. There's our brother looking like that." Absolutely horrified. but anyway, whatever. I mean, it was good fun. I'm glad I did it. Certainly no regrets.
Yeah. You're very lucky in that you can write a good melody and also a good lyric, which not everybody can do. Often songwriters come in pairs. Was that just a natural talent or something you worked hard at?
Well, it's nice of you to say that. I mean, it's the key. I mean, you say, it's in pairs. These days, it's treble. It's 5. How many people does it take to write a song these days? When you look at the credits on albums now, it's about 5 or 6 people. I don't know. It's the art of songwriting is the key to everything I do. Without it, I wouldn't be talking to you. And so the joy is you come up with a melody, it's wonderful. And then you have the opportunity to sit down and come up with a lyric, which very often you've no idea what it's going to be about. So it's an absolute joy.
So it's always the melody first?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Sami Khan famously said when they asked him, fantastic lyricist Sami Khan, what comes first? He said the check. But it's the melody first because it kind of dictates. I mean, you'll have a title very often which you can work on, but there's something nice about not quite knowing what you're going to be writing about. But the melody can dictate in some respects because if it's a gentle melody, it won't be something hard or rockish that you'll be writing and stuff. So, yeah, I love it.
Well, talking of gentle melodies, there's Alone Again, Naturally. And how did that come? Did you work a lot on that one, or did that sort of all come in a rush, or what?
No, it just came the way I was living in a bungalow that Gordon Mills owned before I had my own house. This would be 1971. And I spent the day. I mean, it was brilliant to give up my job. I postal clerk. When Gordon Mills took me on, I could give up my job and write all day and all night if I wanted to. And so I was just writing. And that was one of the songs I was writing at that time. I was happy with it, got into the lyric. You don't have to experience a situation to be able to write about it in a kind of sincere way. It's an understanding of that situation you put yourself in. So, I was happy with it. I can tell you that when the recording session, in those days, as you may know too, we didn't go in to spend years making albums. You would have a 3-hour session, you would do 2 songs, the A-side and a B-side. That's how it used to work. And your album would be made up of different sessions of 3 hours and stuff. And when it was recorded, everybody said the other song, which was called Out of the Question, they said that's the most commercial. That they think is the one they should go with. But Gordon thought, even though Alone Again didn't have as much commercial appeal, he thought it was a better song. So that's what happened. But I was happy with it. It was just a good song, like the other songs. And so I didn't see it any different to the other songs. I was pleased with it, as I am pleased with most of the songs I finish. It's interesting when you think universally, with me, like the most popular song of mine in the UK was Clair, is Clair still. Most popular in Germany is Get Down. The most popular in Holland is Nothing Rhyme. The most popular in America is Alone Again. The most popular in Japan is, different songs. In Spain is What's in a Kiss. So it's kind of nice to have songs that people around the world identify you with in different countries and stuff.
Okay, well, here's America's Own.
I promised myself to treat myself and visit a nearby tower. And climbing to the top, will throw myself off in an effort to make clear to whoever what it's like when you're shattered, left standing in the lurch at a church where people are saying, my God, that's tough. She stood him up. No point in us remaining. We may as well go home, as I did on my own, alone again, naturally. To think that only yesterday I was cheerful, bright and gay, looking forward to what wouldn't do the role I was about to play. But as if to knock me down, reality came around, and without so much as a mere touch, cut me into little pieces, leaving me to doubt. Talk about God in His mercy, who, if He really does exist, why did He desert me in my hour of need? I truly am indeed alone again, naturally. It seems to me that there are more hearts broken in the world that can't be mended, left unattended. What do we do? What do we do? Alone again, naturally. Now looking back over the years, whatever else that appears, I remember I cried when my father died, never wishing to hide the tears. And at 65 years old, my mother, God rest her soul, couldn't understand why the only man she had ever loved had been taken, leaving her to start with a heart so badly broken. Despite encouragement from me, no words were ever spoken. When she passed away, I cried me.
Gilbert O'Sullivan and Alone Again, naturally, a huge hit. Both in the UK, got to number 3, but in America, it topped the charts, as Gilbert said, for 6 weeks.
I have sort of little reviews of Alone Again when it came out, and one of them, which I love showing people, is that it said, another little ditty from Gilbert. That's good, sitting at the piano, could possibly be a hit if it gets the airplay. So that was very much the feel about me around 1972. But things changed. Things changed when it took off in America. Suddenly, I became a different person.
So when you have a huge hit in America, you have to go. So where did you go and what did you do there?
It's one of the most famous disastrous tours ever. That's basically what it was. So wonderfully organized, private planes, orchestra. It was in America, Johnny. You may know this too. It's not bums on seats that you'll get with just selling records. Al Green, for example, had, I think 3 number 1s in America, and he went out and touring and he bombed. You get it by what should have happened with me. Gordon had 2 choices with me back in '74 when it came to this American tour. The option was this: Ray supports the Moody Blues, or he goes out like Tom and Engelberg. Now, I'm not involved in any of this. I'm at home just pottering away, doing what I do. And so they decided that, yeah, we'll do the Engelbert and Tom way, and we'll put him into big arenas and stuff. And that was a disaster. It was we started in New York at the Carnegie Hall, and that was okay because that's a smallish venue. But it soon things started to go badly wrong, and it got pulled before we went to the West Coast. But it was such a well-organized tour with all the orchestra. We had a great time and stuff. It's just that very few people were turning up for the concerts and stuff. So they took me away in the middle of the night and went back to England and stuff.
Well, one of those things you can laugh about now, but probably wasn't too much fun at the time.
Not for the people who were paying for it, Johnny. But it didn't bother me.
Now, which is the country that loved Clair? Was that Holland? Did you say? Or?
No, Clair is the most popular song of the UK and stuff. It is number 1 here. Because of the, song about a child who I babysit for, a lot of affection for. And, Gordon Mills played the harmonica solo and Claire laughs at the end. So it's a very special record for here. And of course, it's one of the most popular songs when we do it in concert stuff.
And how did Claire the person react to having a number 1 record about her? I mean, wow.
Well, we keep in touch. We still see each other. And after all the acrimony that went on over the court case when I left Gordon Mills, there was a time when I didn't have any contact with the family, let alone Claire. But somebody sent me a cassette in the 90s of she appeared on a program talking about how much she loved the song, and that kind of made me then get re in touch with her. Yeah. And so that's led to us meeting up quite a few times. When we did the Hyde Park a few years back, concert in Hyde Park, we invited her along. And my daughter was telling me that when I sang Claire that night in front of 40,000 people and with big orchestra and stuff, she had tears in her eyes and stuff. So it does mean a lot to her, which is really nice to know.
As if something somewhere had happened to me, which I couldn't see. And then the moment I met you again, I knew in my heart that we were friends. It had to be so, it couldn't be no. But try as hard as I might do, I don't know why you get to me in a way I can't describe. Words mean so little when you look up and smile. I don't care what people say, to me you're more than a child. Oh Claire, 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 if ever a moment so rare was captured for all to compare, that moment is you in all that you do. But why, in spite of our age difference, do I cry each time I to marry you, will you marry me, Uncle Ray? Oh, Claire, Claire. There is left of it. You can be murder at this hour of the day, but in the morning this hour will seem a lifetime away. Oh, Claire, Claire. Oh, Claire.
Gilbert O'Sullivan and Clair. You mentioned that acrimonious split with Gordon Mills. I mean, it took a long time, as these legal things do, but you won in the end, and you also made it easier for other artists that followed to get more control and ownership of their copyrights.
Yeah, you set precedents, but God forbid, who needs any of that and stuff. I ended up getting back all the masters as well as all the publishing, which I hadn't been looking for. I was happy to get what I got, but I was upset about the unhappiness it caused so many people. So who needs that? But yes, it set a precedent, Johnny, what you were saying.
Now, life for you now in Jersey is pretty good, I guess.
Well, it's good, Johnny, because we're safe here, slightly different to the UK, and less problems with the COVID and stuff. And we should have been recording the next album last November, but it's now rescheduled for April, I think. The producer's on board. I've written the songs. Normally what happens is the producer would come over in October last year, listen to the melodies, go away, and I would then spend the next 3 months writing the lyrics. So I'm kind of all ready to go on that. And in the meantime, what I'm doing is still the songwriting thing. I have songs, melodies that don't have a particular middle section that I'm still working on. And I really enjoy doing that. So and I'm sort of testing things which were outside my remit, sort of unusual things that I've not done before, and sort of checking in on those. So I'm keeping myself very busy like that, and looking forward to coming into the studio next spring once I've had the second jab. We can all party then, right?
Yes, we can. I hope so.
Tiggy can take you out partying for when you get that.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, lovely to talk to you and to catch up. And thank you very much for your time, Gilbert.
Nice talking to you, Johnny. Take care.
All the best.